Hello, I'm Joe Carter. Welcome to EPL Weekly, your weekly debrief of the English Premier League. Subscribe to this channel to make sure you never miss one of our fantastic live streams ever again. On this week's show, we look back at the weekend's action so far, including, well, kind of exclusively, two games, really. Brighton's demolition of Newcastle from yesterday and West Ham's electrifying 3-3 draw with Arsenal this afternoon. We build up to the Villa Spurs game with our brilliant missing men quiz. We'll see if Roz can actually get a point on the board for that one today. And he's going to take us through his Fantasy Premier League Kings of the Game Week so far as well. Also, if you are watching this and you have any suggestions or any kind of questions, pop them in the chat box and we will read them out and discuss as and when. Also, make sure you tweet us at EPLW Pod. How many followers are we on, Roz?
It's a very good question. I reckon it's 8, maybe 7.
Roz, do we have the same social media manager as Joe Hart by any chance?
Yes, the other voices you can hear if you're not looking at the screen are my two EPL experts with me today, Roz and Mus. How are we doing, chaps? Why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners and tell them one thing you can't wait to talk about on this episode of EPLW. Roz.
Yeah, all right. I'm Roz, Millwall season ticket holder, and I was incredibly hungover this morning because Millwall won a game yesterday. It doesn't happen very often, so you kind of have to celebrate them when they do happen. But I was kind of perked up being hungover by the fact that Arsenal conceded 3 goals in 32 minutes. That was the Arsenal.
Were they? Was David Luiz and Pablo Mari out with you last night then, or?
Yeah, and Kieran Tierney as well. But then also West Ham in the same game dropped a 3-goal lead. So really that couldn't have gone any better from a Millwall fan's perspective. Yeah, can't wait.
So did you say you're a Millwall fan, by the way?
Yeah, don't mention, sorry.
No, you've never mentioned it. Also alongside me is the mighty, pun-dementally, pun-intentionally brilliant pun master. It is, of course, Mus.
Evening, Joe. Thanks for the introduction, and evening, everyone. Yes, I'm Mus. I'm a Arsenal season ticket holder and a all-round fan of the Premier League. Looking forward to discussing the West Ham Arsenal game, which ended up being one of the most entertaining games I've seen this season, I think.
Yeah, certainly. Did you say you're an all-round fan of the Premier League there, Mus?
Yeah.
Well, perfect, because this is EPL Weekly, the English Premier League's weekly review. One more thing. Be like Jack and be like Andrew. These are our Patreons. Support us on patreon.com/Joe Carter EPLW. And if you're watching this, like the video and subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, just hit that subscribe button and it will help us to grow this community, which we love so dearly. Right, we're not going to talk about Friday night's game because we talked about that yesterday on the Game Week preview show. So we're going to get straight in, lads. Let's talk ball. Brighton, Newcastle. Welbeck's first Premier League goal since April 2018 helped Brighton on their way to a 3-0 win at the Amex at home to a Newcastle side that is in serious trouble. Roz, do you want to talk us through how you saw this game?
It was on the TV, Joe.
Oh, nice one. Awesome. That's great.
No, it was, you've got like lots and lots of tasty fixtures, kind of 6-pointers every week now, it feels like. Because for the first time in a while, I think we've actually got a good 6 teams that are actually in that relegation fight. They could all kind of comfortably get dragged into it. Newcastle, man. I mean, you look at their players, all their kind of starting lineups and stuff, and they just look like 2 good players to kind of get relegated. Conceded 3. Welbeck's goal was a stunning finish, just outside the box. And who got the others? It was Trossard, I think, and Pascal with the kind of ball into the box. But yeah, woeful Newcastle. Brighton, everyone's favourite XG team, finally sort of paying off, getting 3 goals there, keeping a clean sheet.
Even though their XG was probably lower than 3 for that match.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, Newcastle are really in the thick of it, aren't they?
Newcastle's form is terrible, and you'd have to think the kind of form they've put together. You know me, I love my stats, lads. 2 wins in their last 18 Premier League games. That's 11 points they've made as well from a possible 54. You have to say, any other team, any other manager. I mean, look at Chris Wilder. He's had better than that in the last 18 games, and he's gone. You have to say, any other team, they'd be sacking their manager. Why, Mus? Why is Mike Ashley, the poisonous Mike Ashley, not sacking Bruce or not doing anything about it, seemingly?
Well, not to get too conspiratorial, but I reckon.
No, let's do it. Let's go full flat Earth. Come on, let's do it.
I'm not sure how good the EPLW lawyer. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure how good the EPLW lawyers are. But if you're ready for it, Joe, then
we've got a great Newcastle fan lawyer who's a fan of the show as well. So
yeah, hi Lucas. So basically, I think for Mike Ashley, it probably serves to have a nice foil, a nice shield to all the fan fury that could, to a certain extent, deflect from the criticism that he gets. From his perspective, he could argue that he did invest in the team and that the manager isn't getting the best out of them, etc., etc. And realistically, he probably doesn't want to put any more money into the club. We all know that, it's been stated publicly he wants to sell the club, and that and that deal fell through in the summer, the Saudi-backed one. So for him, it doesn't make, for Mike Ashley's perspective, it doesn't make sense to put any more money in the club. And that includes a payoff to an underperforming manager. So he'd almost rather try and toe this line of maintaining the value of the asset just at the bare minimum, hoping that they'll scrape, and survive as a Premier League club so that he could try again in the summer to sell them.
So he can continue to use St James's Park as his personal company billboard. Also, Mus, if you look at the horizon, it's straight. It's straight. It's not curved. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. I hear you.
Do you guys know how many times, moving swiftly on?
I'm not a flat earther, right? Sorry.
I like a flat earth theory, like the next man. But how many times has Steve Bruce been relegated?
I don't know.
So once with Hull.
Did he go down with anyone else? Is that it? Did Sunderland?
Yeah, he went down with Birmingham City as well. So he's been relegated twice.
Where's this going?
I just looked up who's been relegated the most amount of times.
Okay.
And it's about 7 different managers, all on twice.
Oh, wow.
The likes of Steve Coppell with Palace and Reading, and Ian Dowie. Lots of Palace managers, actually. But no, I just think it's quite interesting that if he goes down, not only has Mike Ashley got 3 relegations, which I think would probably be the most for any owner in a stint at a club, or certainly doesn't make pretty reading. Steve Bruce would be the most relegated manager of all time from the Premier League. I don't know why the appointment to me just didn't make any sense.
It annoyed a lot of Newcastle fans at the time, didn't it?
I mean, he's the sort of face that you associate with Premier League. He's had his days at Wigan, Birmingham City, brought Villa up through the playoffs. But I think of the managers that have 300 or more Premier League games, he's second last for win percentage.
Who was last? Can you remember?
Something like 28% win percentage on average.
Can you remember who was last on that list?
Manager.
Out of interest, can you remember who was last on that list?
Mick Arteta. No, I
It was I was a bit worried.
It was. I reckon it was the Derby manager.
Oh.
Wow, when they only got 11 points. It wasn't Paul Jewell, but he came in after him.
Yeah.
Whoever that was, I think.
Yeah.
Or it might have also been Malcolm the Watford guy. The Derby guy, the Watford guy.
Billy Davies, maybe. Billy Davies. Anyway, we digress slightly there. Let's get back to the game we're talking about then. Yesterday's 3-0 win for Brighton at home to Newcastle. What really performance? Just going to dangle it out there and see who bites first. Come on.
Go on, I'll take this. So, I mean, I thought Brighton, the squad selection, worked really well. Graham Potter brought in a bit of experience in the form of Lallana and Danny Welbeck, and that paid off for him. Thought Lallana was great in that midfield pivot. Him and Basuma were great. Obviously, Welbeck comes out with a goal. Was it the first Premier League goal since 2018?
Yeah, since April 2018, almost 3 years, and his 4th goal ever from outside the box.
Wow.
Yeah.
And just the general, and I think having those 2 experienced players in the team really helped kind of give confidence to the other players, because I mean they've been playing consistently in the same manner, and that's kind of the marked difference between them and Newcastle. You could kind of tell what a Brighton goal looks like, what the blueprint for a Brighton goal looks like, but you couldn't really think of what your standard Newcastle goal is. And yeah, and they were doing everything right, building from the back, managing the game really well. After they went 2 goals up, Newcastle couldn't get the ball often, and there was no intensity in the press, whatever. And Brighton were just happy to keep the ball. Could have scored more, settled for the 3 goals. They were really good.
Is Steve Bruce just kind of a bit of a dinosaur tactically? Do we think he's not got what it takes to manage in the Premier League anymore? Are his tactics not up to date enough? Has he not he's not done any CPD, has he?
I understand it when he's sort of got a Wigan or a Birmingham City, particularly a Wigan, who just aren't any kind of football club, really. They're very much kind of rugby town, came out of nowhere. But when you're sort of playing the underdog card, you can kind of get managers that sort of make teams solid, sort of hard to beat, and the occasional victory when you can. You said before, this is a very good Newcastle team. Joe Willock could well have not gone out on loan. He has played actually quite a few games, particularly in the Europa League for Arsenal. John Joe Shelby's on his day one of the best passers of the ball, I would say, in the league. Callum Wilson, natural goal scorer. Brought in Hendrick and Ryan Fraser, both good players there. Joe Linton was, I believe, 40 million. This is a far too good squad to kind of go down.
Yeah, far too good, far too expensive. And you haven't even mentioned Almiron and Alan Saint-Maximin. They go on, Miss.
Sorry, no, I was going to say Newcastle actually strangely remind me of Bournemouth quite a lot from last season. In the sense that you look at their squad and you think they should have enough, they should be better than their league position suggests, but then they just keep dropping like a stone, and also fittingly they can't get enough game time out of Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson, which is another similarity they share with Bournemouth from last season.
I would love it if they went down for the sole reason. That, did you guys hear what Ryan Fraser said after Bournemouth got relegated? There's that whole debacle where he didn't want to play because he wanted to get the transfer and he didn't want to get injured, so I refused to play for them. And then came out after they'd been relegated and said, to be honest, if I'd have played for them, they'd have probably stayed up. What a Class A wanker. Really hope he goes down with Newcastle now. You can fuck right up. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, Graham Potter's clearly doing bits at Brighton, and all power to them. I think they look like they're pretty safe in my eyes. I'm still backing Fulham to get out of that relegation mire as well, and it'll be Newcastle that join West Brom and Sheffield United in dropping down to Le Championship. Right, okay, if you're enjoying what you're watching, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so you never miss a live stream here on EPL Weekly. And lads, let's move on to West Ham Arsenal, shall we? It finished 3-3 at the London Stadium. As you both said in the beginning of the show, you were both looking forward to talking about this game. West Ham raced into a 3-goal lead, didn't they? And our Arsenal somehow clawed it back to 3-3. Let's come to Mus first off. Mus, how did you see this game? And what did you enjoy from it?
Sure. So actually, I was just looking up how much Joe Linton costs and figuring out that you could have bought Trossard and Mopé for the same transfer fee. But anyway, that's an aside. But so yeah, the West Ham Arsenal game. So West Ham had an amazing start to the game for the first 35 minutes. They just blew Arsenal away. And for any of the viewers who watched the preview show yesterday, there was a big magic theme, Graham, Harry Potter, and John Joe, Voldemort, Shelby.
Yeah.
And I think I called Lingard Lingardium Leviosa, right?
Yeah.
And he was, he was levitating Arsenal like Dua Lipa. Everything was up in the air. He was terrific. First goal, a great strike. Kind of showing why he has turned his form around and is now deserving of a place in the England squad. And then some quick thinking. This is from a West Ham perspective, of course. Some quick thinking, taking a free kick early. Really poor from Leno.
Really poor from the whole Arsenal team. They all had their backs on play. They had their backs turned on play.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm trying not to kind of give the Arsenal perspective because, to be honest, they just look really tired and really kind of really poor. I mean yeah.
Bless.
The exhaustion.
I'm going to dig out Arsenal in a minute. So
they're so tired.
Yeah, I'll leave that.
So tired from doing a job they love and getting paid so much money for it. Oh.
I know, but at the end of the day, they are like, humans and athletes. And, I think someone like Kieran Tierney, for example, we know what ordinarily what he gives every game. And I think it was just out of character for him to kind of switch off like that for the second goal. Just in the first half, he didn't look quite right. Just to use him as an example.
I mean, I know Roz is going to come back, and as he has already informed us, he's going to dig out Arsenal on this match. But I don't like the tiredness excuse. Arsenal played at home, on Thursday. Yes, Thursday to Sunday. They played in the same city, not just in the same country. Like, they had 3 days recovery time. Use the squad. It was a very sloppy start, and it was, I don't know. I'm not going to go too much onto Arsenal. I'll let Roz do that. But Mus.
Yeah. No, I mean, at the end of the day, Joe, I think this is like an atypical season, and the demands are kind of unprecedented on the players. And they may not be physically tired; they could be also like mentally tired. And I think that in commentary they kind of mentioned how you're seeing how fresh Lingard is compared to everyone else. That's just because he's played a lot less football than everyone else.
Interesting point.
Year and a half.
Yeah, Roz, you look ready to go, mate. Should I cover my ears?
No, I mean, it's Manuel Tierney, actually, who I've rated for a long time, even back at his Celtic days. Been brilliant for the national team as well. And for me, seems the obvious candidate if Aubameyang, leaves, then the natural kind of candidate for the armband, basically. But I thought he was at fault for 2 of the goals. The second one was actually hilarious. For any viewers, I literally recorded myself pissing myself with laughter and then sent it to the guys because it was just really enjoyable to watch. Like when you're sort of when you're running late to a bus stop or for a train or something, and you're kind of
getting the train for the bus stop.
Well, either or. But you can see what you want to catch.
I'm just trying to break up the play a bit before you get into too much of a flow. Sorry, go on, carry on.
But yeah, like let's say it's a bus and you're sort of sprinting through it, even though you know it's leaving and you're never going to catch it. That's sort of what Tierney was like. He's sort of just like, and they played the ball quickly. He's like, oh no. And I'd be really interested to know: do you guys actually rate Leno? Because I've not seen a lot. With the likes of Jordan Pickford, you can say they offer other stuff, right? Nick Pope might not be great on his feet, but he's a brilliant shot stopper. Some goalkeepers kind of demand their box. Why do you rate Leno? And if you
Well,
do, why? What are his strong characteristics?
let me just grab that can of worms from you that you've opened, and we'll pick one or two out while we've got the time on this episode of EPL Weekly. The Leno dilemma. I mean, Arsenal sold one of the best keepers in the league this season because he
I
wasn't.
believe the highest, if you're talking fantasy football, the highest points.
Yep, and I think he might be up there for clean sheets as well. He's up there. It's between him and Edison.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, as an Arsenal fan, as a neutral, I don't get it. As an Arsenal fan, watching week in, week out, he's kind of like 80% of a good keeper all round. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have any outstanding strengths and any outstanding weaknesses, really. And so if you break his game down, his distribution's quite good. His shot stopping's quite good. In the air, he's quite good. You know, he's just quite good. He's not a sensational player by any stretch.
There's not sort of individual errors in him, and that's sort of a theme for me from sort of Arsenal goalkeepers. Sort of the guy that was in the opposing goal, Lucas Flappy-Hansky. You know, I mean,
that's mine, by the way. I came up with that, right? Credit where it's due.
Almunia had a mistake in him. Lehmann had kind of weird, rash moments.
I won't hear a bad word said against Super Jens. No way.
Yeah,
we loved Mad Jens.
I think, like, yeah, the last kind of goalkeeper that I trusted for Arsenal was David Seaman, I want to say.
David Seaman, what a gentleman. And I mean, Arsenal do have a rich kind of history of goalkeepers before, you know, up to David Seaman. Like you say, since then it's a bit checkered. But I'd say Jens Lehmann is up there. He's world-class keeper. And for any viewers or listeners who don't know much about Jens Lehmann, just go to YouTube and type in Lehmann versus Drogba. Right? It is hilarious. Him and Didier Drogba when he's at Chelsea just have this complete, you know, like Lehmann just goes
Alternatively, if you want to see a bottle job worthy of Spurs, you can type in 2006 Champions League final, and then you can also see what Jens Lehmann's about.
That is outrageous. He should never be. That was never a red card. If there was VAR, it would have been turned over. I'm telling you now. So I'm not even going to rise to that one, Millwall fan. Mus, have you got anything to say about Leno?
No, I think you summed it up perfectly there. He's had a poor season. I think that's fair to say. But, you know, which keeper hasn't? I hope he can turn it around. He showed signs of promise in his first season. So, yeah.
Roz, did you want to come back on that at all?
I'm just not convinced. In fairness, I don't watch every Arsenal game. But for me, I've just seen too many errors by now. Where the ball comes into the box, I don't feel like he commands his defenders very well. Doesn't really dominate that area as well as I'd like a top 4, top 6, even top 8 goalkeeper too.
I'll say this much: like for a keeper whose main strength is meant to be, that he's good with his feet. A lot of the mistakes have been playing out from the back.
Yeah,
but I can't quite tell whether that's the limitations of the midfielders who are receiving the ball. And if you had slightly better caliber of midfielders, they wouldn't, you know, smash one into Chris Wood's hip and see the goal that way.
I mean, for Xhaka, it's a special combination of being not quite good enough, but also being a complete psycho. But, you know, we'll leave that there. Roz, how did Arsenal go on to then rescue a point from this game after being 3-0 down?
I mean, they had Croydon to bring off the bench, but actually I think the Arsenal bench looked actually quite exciting because they also brought on Pepe, who got an assist for one of the goals. But it was actually the players that were still there that kind of just switched on a bit. Yeah. Saka was sort of constantly running at them all game, really. Got played in. I thought he should have done better. He should have really finished when he was sort of played in on goal. Lacazette proved to me what I was saying. Was it yesterday morning?
Yeah.
When we were talking about Aubameyang, you know, in big moments in games, you want your captain to kind of grab the game by the horns. Did Aubameyang do that? No. You know, it was Lacazette that kind of got, I think the first one's been given as an own goal, hasn't it?
Yeah. The first two
it's quite a beautiful thing.
Both of them own goals.
West Ham today scored 5 goals, and they still didn't win.
Yeah,
Right.
and you're loving that, I guess. Yeah, so got it back. How did Draco Malfoy play today, and what difference has he made, Mus, since what difference has he made to Arsenal?
Yeah, well, so he wasn't on his own and having an awful start to the game from an Arsenal perspective, but when the turnaround started, he was key to that. He's made the world of difference, and it might go unnoticed, especially to fans of stats or fantasy football, because he won't get the assist points and so on. But if you look at the second goal, it's his ball through to, I think it was Callum Chambers, who had an outstanding game, by the way, which leads to that goal. And it's that kind of vision to see the pass and the intricacy to be able to just play that reverse ball. And that's kind of the difference that he's made, something that Arsenal have lacked probably since Ozil fell out of favour, although Croydon does also kind of offer that going forward.
Yes, and I'm enjoying you guys using the appropriate nicknames for players.
Can I just say one thing on that? I love how Martin Tyler loves saying that so much. It sounds like every time he sort of sees him warming up or whatever, and he says, the Croydon De Bruyne. Sounds like a really out of touch teacher trying to be sort of down with the kids.
Saying, what are these memes? What are these memes? What are these memes? What is a hashtag? Right. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I just this isn't the official show for bringing up the predictions from yesterday, but you both called a draw on this one. Fair play. And you also, for the Brighton Newcastle, you both called a Brighton win. And I think Mus might have said Trossard as well to score man of the match. So.
But I also said Lewis Dunk, who got a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. No,
I think Trossard got a goal and an assist. And I also said Lingardium Leviosa to be the star man. And he got a goal.
And I also said Mikel Antonio. So I think we're actually odds even.
Oh dear. Well, it all hinges on tonight's game then, Villa Spurs, which we're going to do some little build up to now. And talking predictions, guys, what are your predictions for tonight's game? In fact, would you like the lineups first? Would that be helpful?
Please.
If I gave you the lineups? God, don't ask much, do you, lads? Villa lineup like this: Martinez in goal, back four, right to left, Cash, Konsa, Mings, Target, 3 centre midfielders, Morgan Sanson, Douglas Luiz and John McGinn. Up front, Traore and Trezeguet supporting Watkins. Tottenham playing a 4-4-2. Lloris in goal. Right to left then at the back, Japet Tanganga, Joe Rodon, Davinson Sanchez and Sergio Reguilon. Across the midfield, right to left, Lucas Moura, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Tanguy Ndombele and Giovanni Lo Celso. And up front, Harry Kane and Vinicius. So how do we read into that?
So he's totally changed it up with Tanganga and Rodon into the back line as well. No Grealish. I'm assuming he's not on the bench either for Villa.
Let me just double check for you.
Certainly not starting.
Wow, no, not on the bench.
I anticipating that. I still think it'll go Spurs way. I'm going to go like 2-1 Spurs personally. But...
And who's your man of the match?
I think I said Bale before, but he ain't starting, is he? So it's got to be...
Can't change it now.
Yeah. You said, I'll tell you what you said, Roz. You said 3-1 to Spurs, Bale, and Mus, you said 2-1 to Spurs, Kane. Do you guys stand by your predictions?
Absolutely.
I don't know if I'm allowed to change. I would change to...
Bale's on the bench, mate. Bale's on the bench. He can still make the difference. Should we do a little quiz then? Should we do our missing men? I've dug out. So here's what's happened, guys. I've dug out a game from the archives of the Premier League for when Tottenham and Villa faced off, and I've managed to pull out an absolute cracker here. Spurs and Villa drawing 0-0 on the 6th of February 2010. So let's see what we can do here. You guys should be able to see it on your screen by now. Yeah. Here are the lineups. I've blanked out 5 on each side. You're going to take turns. You're going to tell me the team and the position. And this is especially for you, Roz. The first name you say is the name I'm taking. Okay. Now, Mus, you won yesterday, didn't you? So should we let Roz go first?
Yep.
Okay. I've got two that I've got in mind. 2010. Let's go for Martin Lawson as Villa's centre half.
Right. Is he right? Let's have a look. No, it's Premier League winner Richard Dunn, who obviously went on to Man City and done bits there. Mus, your turn.
I'm going to guess David James in goal for Aston Villa.
Is he right? No, he's not. It's Super Brad Friedel. Obviously, you know, one of the Premier League's legends in the goalkeeping department. So 0-0, lads, after one go each.
2010 was too late for him. Christian Benteke up front for Villa.
Let's have a look. Oh, incorrect. It was the mighty Emil Heskey alongside Gavi Agbonlahor there. Mus. Wow, both drawing blanks at the moment. Mus, this is your chance to take the lead.
Okay, so you've got Defoe up front, so I'm assuming there's a big man next to him, and there ain't no bigger than Peter Crouch. So let's go with that.
Is he right? Yes,
Sure.
he is. It's Peter Crouch. Mus is doing the robot. It's 1-0 to Mus. Roz, you need this one, mate.
I'm gonna say 2010. Just when they're in the Champions League. Let's go for Gareth Bale at left back.
Oh, it's a bit of a shout, lads. It's a bit of a reach. What do you reckon, Mus? Has he got it right?
I think so, yeah.
He has indeed. It was Gareth Bale at left back. Tottenham's unlucky charm when he played at left back all those years ago. Okay, it's 1-1. Mus, your chance to take the lead here.
Right, I'm going to try Raphael van der Vaart, right mid, presumably.
For Spurs or Villa?
Spurs, please.
No, it was David Bentley, and we won't say much more about him. Roz.
Oh god, let's go for. Was he still? No, I think Gareth Barry had gone on to City by that point. So let's say Nigel Reo-Coker in the middle.
Let's have a look. Is he right? No, it is boring. James Milner, who hadn't moved on just yet. Okay, it's delicately poised, lads. And who's going to go next? Mus, what do you reckon?
I reckon Ashley Young was still at Villa. I may be wrong, but I'm going to say right mid for Villa was Ashley Young.
He's got it. Bang on. Ashley Young, of course, now at Inter Milan doing bits there. So it's 2-1 to Mus. And there are two. Is it 2-1? It's 2-1 to Mus, isn't it?
Something like that. I'm one up.
Yeah. Okay, Roz, who's it going to be?
Okay.
You've got to pull one out the bag here. Spurs, left midfielder or centre back?
I'm gonna go for the left mid. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm gonna go for the centre half. I'm gonna go for Kabul.
For who? Sorry?
Kabul.
Yunus Kabul. Is he right? Sorry, mate. It was Ledley King. Which
What?
means, yeah, he actually wasn't injured for that game, presumably.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, Mus, close it out then. See if you can sprinkle some gold dust on your third victory in a row. I think on Missing Men.
Yeah.
You got the 2-1. Can you make it 3?
All right, so I don't need this one. So I'm just going to go really outrageous with it. I'm just going to say Aaron Lennon.
Aaron Lennon. Roz.
I was gonna go for Lennon. Yeah.
Well, you're both wrong.
Is it Van der Vaart?
It is one of. It's the first Croatian to win the World Player of the Year.
Luka Modric.
On the left, Luka Modric. Yeah.
Oh my.
There you go, lads. Okay, right. Thanks for joining us for that quiz. Mus takes home the prize again. We'll see if Roz can claw it back next week. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen, then click that subscribe button and allow notifications. We're going to go and enjoy this Villa Spurs match now. Well, enjoy it, presuming Villa win. For me, ever the unbiased football fan. Thank you very much, Mus.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Roz.
Just mate.
I'll see you guys next time on EPL Weekly. Ta-ra!